Good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday. Dude, can you believe it's Thursday already? Like, how crazy is
Thursday.
that?
I mean, the whole week just flew by.
I don't know if it's Christmas or if it's just the fact that it's like the end of the year that I'm just like, wait, is Monday like, yes, no, it's not. No. Monday a couple days ago, Nico, come on. But anyway, I'm super, and again, this is interesting. So I'll actually talk through our history together. We touched about it yesterday, but we'll actually do that officially today. But let's introduce yourself.
So I'm Antoni Tzavelas. I am a technical trainer, and I've been on LinkedIn actively for, I would say, since March, probably. Yeah, since March.
March of this year?
What's that?
Was it March of this year? Like 2019?
Yeah, that I've been very active.
Okay.
I mean, I've been on LinkedIn for probably the past 2 years, maybe 3, but I didn't really do anything with it. And so as soon as I got on, it changed my life, changed my world.
I mean, you can't just like drop a mic and walk away. Like, how did it change your life? Because like, again, you're not a huge fan of this platform. But, like,
that's fair. That's fair, Nico. It changed my life because I met so many great new people. It allowed me to open myself up to be more transparent, to be very honest with myself. And that allowed me to find my voice and find my message and eventually find my purpose.
Because before we jumped on, I kind of told you about the structure. And usually like I ask a tip, but for this one, voice is interesting to me because I get the question quite a bit. It's like, hey, I want to start posting on social media. I just don't know what my voice is. I don't know how to find it. What would you say to someone who might be thinking that? Because you and I know it's not you. There's no manual. You didn't get a LinkedIn friend Bible, and you're like, okay, this is what I do on day 1 and day 2. And so, how do you find your voice?
You have to start. That's basically what it is. So you have to get on video, or start by doing a text post. But the best way I find to find your voice is to project it out into the universe, manifest whatever it is that you are wanting to send out, and it will happen. So if you don't start, you'll never know what your message will be. When I first started, I had absolutely no idea. I had no clue what the hell I was talking about. I was just like, well, like we said yesterday, I took on Sam Lister's 30-day video challenge. And for 30 days straight, I just started posting video. And a lot of it was jibber jabber. A lot of it was just complete and utter crap, for lack of better words. But it allowed me to talk about the things that I was passionate about. It allowed me to express my values and what gives me purpose, what makes me want to get up in the morning. And although it may not be my job per se, it's who I am. And that's what personal branding is all about. It's about who you are. What do you stand for? What are the things that interest you that may find its way into what it is that you do every day?
I always say your first couple posts are kind of throwing it at the wall, but for someone just wanting to get started, it's always just tell people you're getting started. Like that's the first post, I think, is always the easiest, that you don't really have to think about it. Like if it's video, be like, grab your phone right now. You can hang up on us, or you can have us in the background, and we won't mind. And you just talk about, hey, my name is X. This is what I do, and I'm starting to create videos. And I could do 10-15 seconds of that, and most likely as soon as you get over that first 10-15 seconds, you're on a roll after that.
Exactly.
I actually do want to talk about content for a second, because you're a LinkedIn content creator. You actively promote not just what you do, but your passions and whatnot. How did you find what topics to talk about? Because I think topics are also interesting, right?
So it's funny you say that, because I got into this lull, if you will,
Oh, interesting.
of of what am I going to post?
Hmm.
And so I don't know if you've noticed, Nico, but I started doing what a lot of people do, and that is to not create original content. And so
I
I would.
didn't know this. I thought it was a strategy, but now I know it was
It was a
let's talk about
strategy, and you can get a ton of views. You can get a ton of those vanity metrics.
this. Hmm.
And as long as you have the right message, it works. But I was looking, when it really hit me was when Frank Mengbert came on and he said, why are people not posting original content? And it really hit me. I'm like, why am I not? And it was because I was just being lazy.
Hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that those people who post that content are being lazy. It's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying this from my frame of view on how I feel and how it affected me. And so I decided a couple days ago, I said, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to start creating original content. And that's what I started doing.
Hmm.
I started to create original content. And so I am actually reaching out to some videographers here in my area and looking at starting to do a strategy whereby I'm creating video all the time, combined with some iPhone video, combined with some picture posts. But again, I wouldn't have known if I didn't start.
Hmm. So I'm
And
gonna.
so getting back to your question, because I went off on a really crazy tangent. When it comes to what you want to post, people are like, I don't know what to post about. Post about what matters to you most. Whether it relates to your job or not, it is defining who you are,
Hmm.
who you are as a human being. So if you have a passion for, I don't know, coffee, talk about coffee. If you have a passion for dominoes or um, magic tricks, post about that. See where it goes. Test it out. Because the thing is that because this platform is still new,
Hmm.
you don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work. You want to bring value to the people who are watching. And if it's not of value, you'll know.
There's a
You will
great little
know.
feedback loop on this platform. Like especially, and I'll actually I like to interview people, but I'm gonna throw this out there because this has really helped me. Is I don't know if you see my content where I talk about the magic of Quora and getting
Yeah.
user generated questions. Everyone thinks about user generated answers, but I default into the creative barrier, right? Which is just go and solicit questions. I think one thing that content creators should do the most, I don't know if you've done this, is make a video or just a text post asking your audience what they want to see. I don't know. Have you ever done that?
I've never done that.
Do it. You would be surprised. I do it every like 3 weeks or something. I'll just do a simple text post. I'm like, hey, looking for content ideas. What do you guys think? Right? They're your audience. Like, get the raving fans to ask questions. Like, why not?
Yeah. That, you know what, that's a great idea. I never thought about that, and I think that I will I'll definitely try that within the next few days.
Yeah, no, do it. So let's bring it back to you, right? I'm gonna
Okay.
say a word, and I want you to talk about the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay?
Okay.
Fashion. Why would I bring up fashion out of everything?
Well, it's because that's where I started.
Mm.
So, um, I wasn't in tech until about 2005, and so I originally came out of school as a fashion designer,
Mm.
And I started sewing when I was 10, and I did my first fashion show when I was 17, and I just started playing and started being creative and really explored the boundaries of fashion. And in 1999, I opened up my first fashion label, like a full-blown North American wide. Me and my wife, we decided, let's do it. Let's be entrepreneurs, because we learned from our parents. Our parents were immigrants, and they became entrepreneurs. So that's what we did. So we launched our company, and we ended up in probably about 40 boutiques across North America. And over time, we did really well. We were doing $250,000 in sales just between two people, me and her, and things are going well. Yeah.
Wait, we got to clarify, Canadian or US?
Canadian.
Oh, okay.
And in Canada, that's a good living.
Hey, US, it's still pretty good living. So just gotta throw it out there because got it that right.
So when things are well, things are really well. But what had happened is in 2004, there was a free trade agreement that went to China. And so you could get the same garment made in China, but for 1/10 of the price. So the making one garment here in Canada costs the same amount of money as making 10 in China.
No.
It was a no-brainer for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely.
But because me and my wife were Canadian proud, and we were proud to be made in Canada, we refused to go that route. And so we struggled for a long time, and it got to the point where we were living in poverty. Yeah. Like, we're talking, I was scrounging through the couch for change in order to buy coffee. It was really tough times. And if I look back on it, I'd have to say that I wouldn't change a thing, because that struggle helped me grow. And so how I turned it around was a friend of mine came into my studio and said, Antoni, I'm making a ton of money working in the tech industry. I'm, creating websites for this company, and they're paying me a ton of money. I could really use a database administrator. Do you know databases? And I was like, no, but how hard can it be? So there I was. Back then, we didn't have the resources that we have today. So learning something was much more difficult. So I scoured the internet looking for ebooks, trying to teach myself, and I couldn't do it, because coming from fashion to tech was so different. Like the advanced concepts of databases were just beyond me. So I said, screw it, I'm going back to school. So literally next day, I went to community college, and I signed up. And a year later, I came out with a database administrator diploma. I came out with 3 certifications. And 6 months after I graduated, I got my first job in tech with Citigroup as a Unix administrator.
Let me ask you, because a lot of people would have seen like, oh, hey, I couldn't find any cheap resources with ebooks or books and whatnot. Maybe this isn't for me. Why did you decide to say, you know what, I'm just gonna go in and enroll and teach myself that? Like, where was it because of hunger, because of situation? Like, where did you think that came from?
Well, for me, it was fight or flight. I had a family to support, My son was 7 years old at the time, and my wife, I had a family to support. So it wasn't just about me anymore. About my family. And to me, family always comes first, no matter what. Doesn't matter in any situation, your family should always come first. And so I said to myself, how can I turn this around? How can I not let my family starve? And so, on top of me going to school, I actually had a part-time job. For a while there, I was the network administrator for the school. And as soon as they brought on somebody full-time, I got a job at Best Buy working in Geek Squad.
You would have seen me a lot. I would have been like, hey, my iPhone's not working. And you're like, Nico, have you tried turning it off and on? I would be like,
back then there was no iPhone.
so we're going way back.
Wait, yeah, it was, there were Blackberries.
Oh, okay. So I would have spilled something on it. And you'd be like, Nico, you need to replace your BlackBerry, because I would spill stuff on my dad's all the time.
Sorry, there were iPhones. They had just come out, and I think they were on at the time maybe iPhone 2. That's how far back.
What are we on, 11 or 12 now?
11.
11. Okay.
Yeah.
It
was just when Facebook started too. Because I remember I had a lot of employees coming into the Geek Squad back area to check their Facebook. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, why are you guys back here all the time? And they're like, I have to check my Facebook.
That's a perfect segue for fashion tech. And then I actually did not know about your entering or start with social and the digital landscape. But let's talk about that, because again, no one creates content, especially on LinkedIn, but any platform, by accident, right? I always say it's super easy not to do it. It's very hard to do it. So how did you get into the world of social, and why did you decide that personal branding was something that you would be interested in?
That to the top, and then zoom in to where it was.
Sorry, I'm getting some feedback here.
Oh, no, you're good.
One second.
Well,
it's on my end. There we go.
I thought you were listening to my Gary Vee podcast. I was like, put it on.
Sorry, if you could repeat the question.
Oh yeah, no, I was saying, so we got your fashion into tech, and then personal branding is something that I'm passionate about, because really it's just reputation now online, right? So how did you get into this world? Because it's, like I said, not easy to get into, but once you're in it, it's kind of addicting.
So when I started to realize how important my word was in the industry, because the tech industry, although people may think it's such a huge industry, there's huge money to be made, but the industry itself is very small. Everyone knows everyone, especially in your city, in your country. Everyone knows everyone. And so I started to look at it as, okay, I need to really think about branding myself. Not with regards to I needed a logo per se, but I needed to continue on with my reputation. So I was on an airplane off to my new job at the time, and I was listening to Gary Vee's Crushing It. And when I heard it, and he was saying how important personal branding is, and that LinkedIn is the way to go right now because of the crazy organic growth, I was like, I'm sold. So I started to dive into LinkedIn, see what it was about. And I don't know if you remember, Nico, I remember reaching out to you saying, I don't understand how this works. I don't understand. You just be nice to people, and in turn you get following? I don't understand.
What was it when we first? Well, that's the thing. It was interesting for you to reach out because you were playing around with the HTH movement, H2H movement. I apologize.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because when we connected, it again, you had the terms for what I think that these platforms enable you to do, which is be real with people. And from there, much like you said in tech, the real world is actually pretty small. Like 7.7 billion people seems like a lot until you know that you're only like 6 or 7 degrees away from mostly anyone in the world.
Exactly.
Like, that's what blows my mind. So if you want to get introduced to someone, that's your circle just exponentially grew and each and every time. So really, like you asked, and I know that we talked, but you had the answers already. But how are you? Because you had conversations with me, you brought up Sam, and a lot of the LinkedIn creators, influencers on the platform. So I'm going to actually bring it all the way back to you finding your voice and you actually moving forward with personal branding and actually changing it up a little bit. So let's talk about how you were able to then, experiment, find your voice, and then the transition. So a lot of questions for where are you at today and where are you kind of going now?
So I started to think about what is it that, actually, no, I'll start from the beginning.
Okay.
So,
and by the way, I didn't make this apparent in the beginning. If I ask something and you're like, I don't want to answer that, but I have something, go for it.
I'm going to start from the beginning. So when I started to deliver my message, I was actually just testing. I was testing out, me making pizza in my backyard. I was testing out me talking about humanity. I was testing out me talking about continuous learning, which I'm very passionate about. A lot of different things I was talking about, but it was because I was not only passionate about it, but I wanted to see the reaction from people. Is it what they want to hear? Is it what people really value from me? And the more I did it, the more I started to understand. So, you hear about people who they dive into something and they continuously do it over and over and over again until they become an expert at what they do. And the same thing goes for personal branding and posting. You don't know what works if you're not doing it, right? So you got to test it out.
I talked about the feedback loop. That's kind of what you're saying, right?
Yes.
How do you use it? So in a sense, like, again, you keep posting things. What in your mind's like, oh, that's successful or that's not? Like, how do you break it down?
So funny you bring up feedback loop. In technology, there is a term that we use in DevOps called a feedback loop. And what it is you test something, and if it works, well, you've gotten immediate feedback to say, hey, it worked. And so if it works, you continue using that, and then you build on that. But when something doesn't work, you can simply say, well, that didn't work. Okay, why didn't it work? What was different this time than the last time? And should we pivot and do something else, or should we fine-tune the process that we just did? So having that feedback loop is crucial when it comes to software development. So same thing goes for anything in life. Whatever it is that you're doing, you should get a constant feedback loop. If you're hearing from other people that your content is garbage, well, that's a little harsh, but
that is very hard.
Your content isn't doing as well. Like, for instance, I did a post the other day and it got 4 likes and 1 comment, but I didn't care because it was a learning. It was a failed post, and I'm okay with it.
I'm going to actually pause you there. For me, and because I want to throw this out there, I still get a little nervous on some of my posts that are really out there. What's that number for you that's like, because I know it changes, right? But and I know we talked about in the past, we care about conversations more than likes, but is there a certain threshold? So you just said 4 likes and 1 comment. What other is that? What's the threshold for like that was bad and that was good?
So for me, a post that does okay or well, for that matter, I usually look at the comments. So for me, I can have the same amount of likes and comments, and I'm okay with it. But what I love to do is try to spark conversation.
Absolutely.
And when you start doing that, and it starts to blow up, for lack of better words, a lot of people start to comment. Now, I'm not looking for those comments whereby people are
They're like the
saying,
hearts.
"Oh, nice post.
Great post."
Agreed." No, I'm looking for actual thoughtful comments. And those are the comments that, I love to build on. I mean, sometimes, people leave comments that are so well written, so well thought out, that I have nothing to add, which is fantastic, because it's just like, they have basically made a comment that will allow them to get more engagement. So now I'm looking at feeding my community. And that's fantastic as well.
Yeah, no, for me, there's 2 stages, and I actually need to be posting about this more. There's two. There's one. Do I at least have 1 or 2 likes? That's the first thing. I'm like, if it's like in 2 hours and there's nothing, I kind of like, I'll be honest, and I did this the other day and I felt so bad because usually I don't do it. I copy it. I had an emoji and I'll post it again. And then sometimes it's just timing, sometimes it's a bad post, but that's my first phase. And the second phase is usually like 12 hours after. And I'm like, okay, we had 3 comments. 2 of them were the heart, just a heart. And I'm like, okay, it's hard to be mad at a heart, but like, maybe one thoughtful discussion. But then you use a thoughtful discussion to add it back to that. But I don't know if you've done this either. I cycle through content as well. So I create 4 pieces every day. And then I'll actually repurpose 2 of them.
Oh, yes. So I do that. And this is a great tip for anyone out there listening who wants to create content for multiple platforms.
Yeah.
So what I usually do is I create my LinkedIn post first. And then I will shrink and get the most important point of that post and put it on Twitter. Then I will take that same post and look for a condensed version, or create a condensed version, and maybe take either the video or the a picture post that I just found and put it up on Instagram. Bam! You've just done 3 posts in a matter of minutes, and it's repurposing content.
Absolutely. The one thing I will add to that is, since I create videos every single day, right? Some videos, there are comments that people make. I'll go back, change the copy, and use that copy as either the start of an article or as short or long form content. So that's the one piece of feedback I'll give you as well is
thank you.
Yeah, because I mean, like, you're already like copy and video. That's a piece.
Yeah.
Video and copy. That's 2 more pieces that you can do something with.
Yeah. So, and I learned that from Gary V, and I'll actually post that article in the comments later, because I think it was like a 240-page article from his website, and I was like, this is brilliant.
Yeah, please do, please.
And it shows how you can create so much content in one day for so many different platforms.
Why recreate the wheel, right? That's my theory. So we're getting towards the tail end of our conversation. My friend, this has been so much fun. What is some closing remarks that you have in regards to social and passions that you care about? Just this is your minute and a half to lay it on.
I really want to bring to light that you may not realize it, but everyone is watching.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I went to an industry party last night, and one of the first things that came out of people's mouths were, "Oh my God, Antoni, I love your videos on LinkedIn." They've never commented. They've never liked. They were just watching.
Have you ever gotten business from that? Like,
not yet, because I'm not looking to monetize yet.
It's crazy for Boundless, right? I've had people email me, right? Go and because right now, like we're kind of in stealth mode as we're prepping. Find out the website, like because they're like playing around with it, and email me. Yet they've never commented or posted anything on my page. So sorry to interject.
It's okay. It's okay. So yeah, you don't, just because you don't get any likes or any comments doesn't mean that people are not watching. People are always watching, and there are how many people on the platform now, Nico?
Last time there was 550 million, something like that. Let me grab that number.
So for me, I look at if you build a connection, your tribe of about 5,000 people, that's all you really need. Really, it's all you really need, and it'll start with that. But when you get those 5,000 people, it's amazing at what you can accomplish, and it's amazing how much impact you can have across. Like, I'm reaching people. I had a couple of phone calls. I actually had a call this morning with Istvan, and he's out in the UK. I just got on messaging. I was like, "Hey, want to have a call?" And he's like, "Sure."
I did.
But people are always watching. So don't think that just because you're not getting any comments or any likes that you are not making an impact, because you are. You're making an impact to so many people, and you don't realize it.
I mean, that is one of the metrics I always say is it's impact over likes. And that's exactly it, because you just never know. It goes back to the conversation we had earlier, right? It's a small world, right? It is a very, very small world. So it has been amazing. Where can people find you? And I'll link to your LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, baby. That's where I live.
That's easy enough, because I was going to go and like have to stall to go grab everything.
No. Just hit me up on LinkedIn. I accept everyone's connection requests. So and I am doing a big push right now to help people find a job in tech. So if you are looking for a job in tech, I can help you. If you are in a different field and you want to get into tech, I can help you. If you are already in the tech field and you're looking to go to a different position, let's say you're a developer and you want to get into DevOps or cloud, I can help you.
That's what this platform is all about. It's all about helping.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being on the live with me. I'm actually going to take us off. I'll end the broadcast because I'm trying something new. Because the feedback loop is that we end it through a sentence. So I'm actually going to stop it here. We'll chat a little bit after.
Thank you so much, Nico.
Oh yeah, thank you for like dropping all these like little nuggets. Right. That's what life is all about. And my point that I try to make in every live is, don't be afraid to go reach out. We got connected. We're the random algorithm world, but the friendship we're building is not random. So
no, definitely not.
So I'm gonna end it here. We'll be right back, us two. But thank you everyone for paying attention, for watching. And if you have any questions, feedback for any one of us, let us know. But otherwise, have the most beautiful day ever.